We're going to go into a little bit more detail about what exactly is going on with all these wonderful utilities we got coming in here. So obviously this is something that's evolved over time, and there have been numerous changes by previous owners here and there over the years. And the general state of this stuff is just kind of a mess. The water meters down in there. You got your gas here coming up, sort of the main pipe coming in to the meter. Then it branches off in a bunch of different directions, including one big pipe here that goes underground back to the rear of the house for that ridiculously ugly hot tub. So that's kind of ugly. Power, you got it coming in overhead along with the cable and telephone. Kind of got this extra little pole in the middle of the driveway coming up. Not really all that appealing, and you can tell in the past they just patched it in, left a big hole underneath the old meter, and then ran new conduit on the outside of the house into the main panels. So all in all, that's pretty ugly. The water meter actually is right under here, but the main water entrance to the house is over on this corner, kind of right outside those windows. So pretty much all of this is going to move. The water meter itself will probably stay right about there, but this main meter and the gas is all going to move around to the rear of the house, and all those overhead wires are going to wind up getting buried. And the main reason for that is where we live, and based on the project that we're doing, we have to put a sprinkler system in the house. Even though it's residential, they want the fire district wants a sprinkler system, and because of that, this little 5/8 water meter is not going to be enough water for the sprinkler system in the house, and the fact that the house is basically going from 2 bath to 4.5 bath. So the water company's already been out to sort of mark where the water comes up the driveway and branches into the house here, but that's all going to have to be trenched all the way back down to the street down there with new 1.5-inch water supply. And because we're tearing all that up, we figured, well, what the hell, let's get all these ugly wires off the house and buried while we're at it. So after the water company comes out, puts their stuff in the trench, and that initial trench gets filled in, we'll be digging a secondary trench to take all these power lines and the cable utilities and underground those as well. The gas meter doesn't necessarily have to move, but because this side of the house is going to actually be the operable side of the garage going forward, that's kind of ugly and it's kind of in the way. So while we're digging, we figured we'd just get it out of the way. We're going to run that around the back of the house, basically put all this stuff out of sight, out of mind, so it's no longer visible while you're driving up to the property. And to facilitate that, we actually have to have temp power brought into the project, which isn't too atypical for construction projects anyway, but we wanted to put it in a place where it's in line with these overhead wires, so the power company can actually just take the current supply off the house from that masthead right there, attach it to a temp power pole that'll be situated right about here, and that'll be the temp power for the project, and that'll be what we and everybody else use as we're working through this until the new power is actually undergrounded, dug, buried all the way around to the back of the house, and it'll come in the rear of the garage once that expanded. So be a lot of work, it'll be a lot of digging, but we figured if we already had to trip the driveway for the water line, we may as well do it all and just get it done. You can tell the driveway's not in great shape as it is. Again, previous owners didn't really do much maintenance on the house, and because we're on a slope here and they never bothered putting retaining walls in around the edge of the property, all that concrete and blacktop started to sort of creep around the hill over time. So we'll rectify that by putting in actual retaining walls and curbs to hold that in place. A lot of the blacktops is going to be replaced with pavers. Not going to do the entire outside of the house this project. We're really focusing just on the interior and the exterior refacing. Landscaping and all the exterior work will be a different project, but as you can tell sort of from the state of the property, that'll be a lot of work as well. A good chunk of this is going to get dug up through here as well, because the main sewer clean out, which is currently right under that window there, not really in a great spot, is going to get moved to a corner of the house here, kind of tucked away, but then that means the main sewer egress has to move from that wall over to this wall, and then it's going to join back up with the current sewer line down to the street, right, kind of right at that corner there. The good news is all the plumbing in the house is getting redone anyway. I don't think there's a single fixture in there that's going to stay where it's at, so moving that sewer line really isn't the worst, because all the plumbing inside's got to change anyway, so they have to do all the waste vent. They may as well move the plumbing as well out here, just to get it out of the way and put it in a better spot. And then they'll put a nice new clean out at the top here that's hopefully no longer right underneath the window for us.